New York City, for 400 years, it's been this incredible story of constant reinvention. But what happens when the massive challenges of today slam into the ambitions of tomorrow? We're going to trace its unbelievable history of survival to ask one huge question about its future. And that brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today. What will New York City actually look like in the year 2100? It's a question you just can't answer by looking forward. Nope. First, you have to go back and understand how it all began. So first up, forged from chaos. Because really, you can't even begin to predict a city's future without understanding the wild ambition, the crushing disasters, and the just relentless drive that created it in the first place. Way before it was a city of skyscrapers, New York was a city of water. Its entire destiny was shaped by one single geographic feature, a deep, sheltered, perfect natural harbor. From the Lenape who fished in these waters to the Dutch traders looking for a foothold in a new world, everybody saw the potential. This was the foundation for everything that came next. And from that one strategic port, history just hit the accelerator. In 1624, it's the tiny Dutch port of New Amsterdam. By 1892, boom, it's the front door for millions of immigrants at Ellis Island. Fast forward to 1931, and its ambition is literally scraping the sky with the Empire State Building. And then, in 2001, a terrible tragedy reshapes not just the skyline, but the very soul of the city. Every one of these events is another layer, building the metropolis we know today. But here's the key, and you really got to get this to understand New York. Its identity isn't defined by its successes, it's defined by its comebacks. After the Great Fire of 1835 burned the old city to the ground, a modern, fireproof city rose from the ashes. After the fiscal crisis of the 70s nearly bankrupted it, it reinvented itself as a center of global finance. After 9/11, it rebuilt with pure defiance. This cycle of destruction and rebirth, it's literally coded into the city's DNA. Okay, so that whole history of bouncing back brings us right to today. Section 2, Capital at a Crossroads. Because the New York of right now is a total paradox. It's a global powerhouse that is stretched to its absolute limit. I mean, on one side of the coin, its dominance is just undeniable. It's the nerve center of global finance on Wall Street, the creative heart of fashion, art, and media. And now, with the rise of Silicon Alley, it's a major tech hub, too. It really is, in every sense of the phrase, the city that never sleeps. But then you flip that coin over, and you see a city that's cracking under the pressure. I'm talking about a housing crisis so bad, it's pushing people out. Its location on the coast makes it incredibly vulnerable to climate change and rising seas, and the constant grind of inequality and gridlock makes you wonder how it all keeps going. So this leaves us with the big question for our time. Is this it? Is New York finally hitting a wall that it can't break through? Or, if you look at its history, is it just getting ready for its next radical reinvention? And that question is the perfect launchpad for our final section, the City of Tomorrow. This is where we get to explore the possible paths New York could take as it barrels towards 2100. And we're going to mix the practical with the truly fantastic. And we can really think about this future in two different ways. First, you've got the official future. This is the blueprint, the stuff city planners and engineers are actually working on right now. Then you've got the speculative future. These are the wild, imaginative, maybe even crazy ideas that push the boundaries of what we think is possible. The official future is all about being pragmatic. It's about survival and adaptation. So we're talking about massive seawalls to literally hold back the ocean, green infrastructure like rooftop gardens that soak up stormwater like a sponge, expanding transit with things like autonomous vehicles, and totally redesigning neighborhoods to be flood-proof. This is the logical, planned-out evolution. But then you have to ask the scary question. What if that's not enough? What if the challenges, especially from climate change, are just bigger than these practical solutions can handle? Well, that's when you have to start thinking way outside the box. And this is where we enter that speculative future. And yeah, these ideas sound like science fiction because they pretty much have to be. We're talking about floating neighborhoods in the harbor, architecture designed by AI, and massive vertical forests, skyscrapers just draped in greenery that literally breathe life back into the city. These are the big, game-changing ideas that might just be what's needed. So after looking at the past, the present, and all these possible futures, we come all the way back to the core of this whole thing, the unanswered question. And it's not really about technology or architecture. It's about identity. So what's it going to be? Will the New York of 2100 still be the financial and cultural capital of the world that we all recognize? Or will all these immense pressures force it to morph into something so different, so new that we'd barely recognize it as the same place? And maybe that brings us to the most profound point of all. Maybe the physical form of the city is secondary. The real question we should be asking isn't what it will look like, but after all the change, all the adaptation, all the reinvention, will it still feel like New York? That's something to think about.